Let's start with this footage of a massive New York subway rat that appears to be deceased. While this is disgusting and terrifying in its own right, this isn't actually the subject of the video. In the middle of filming this poor creature, it quickly disappears underneath a door. When the cameraman swoops back around, he catches a rat more than twice as big, sticking its snout out from under the door. Giant cannibalistic sewer rats? Did anyone have that on their 2025 bingo list? If you haven't seen the body horror film, The Substance, you might not recognize this disfigured creature jammed into her New Year's Eve dress. However, you can still appreciate the fact that people in the subway are having to marvel at this person's very detailed costume and wonder just what event they might be attending. The best part is the sign in the background that reminds people to not be someone's subway story. Looks like they're too late in this case. This is quite literally an attempted murder caught on camera. The good news is that the whole event went so terribly wrong that it's possible nobody was even hurt. These two people didn't even seem to know each other at first, but one of them jumps behind the other and starts pushing, attempting to throw them in front of a moving train. In a moment of sheer terror, they both go plummeting off the platform right onto the tracks. The good news is that the train was already coming to a stop and managed to do so before striking either of the women. The relative privacy of the subway makes it the perfect place for some substance abuse, which seems to be the case here. The cameraman seems to have caught a fellow traveler in the middle of a drug-related dance-off with himself. Perhaps in his mind, he sees himself tearing it up on the nightclub dance floor, but in reality, he's standing in front of a turnstile acting a complete fool.
Doing all right?
It's nice of the cameraman to ask if he's okay, but it's pretty clear this dude is in outer space at the moment.
Stop it! Stop it!
Between drugs, alcohol, and mental illness, it's unfortunately quite common for someone to threaten you on a subway. For some reason, this guy is running down the line, making threatening gestures at everyone, especially the door. Though he doesn't actually do anything to anyone, it's understandable why people might feel threatened by his erratic behavior. It's a shame mental health and drug treatment isn't more accessible in the US these days, because incidents like this can go badly very quickly. I bet you've never seen the subway quite like this before. People often forget that these subway lines run hundreds of feet underground. When the electricity goes out on the train, there's little to no light to help you see. Lots of people liken this to a much less fun version of Disney's Space Mountain. Hey, at least it's not crowded. You know how water always seeks out the lowest point? Well, in cities with subway lines, the tunnels can quickly turn into just another sewer. This footage from Brazil shows people doing their best to protect themselves and their belongings as thousands of gallons of water rush past them. They seem calm, but this is the sort of situation that could quickly escalate. With no ability to escape from the tunnels, these people could find themselves swept away to who knows where. This is one of those instances where you really wish you could hear what's being said. Two NYPD officers are confronting this woman for smoking an e-cigarette on the subway platform. It seems like a pretty victimless crime, but the argument just keeps getting more and more heated. At one point, the officer lightly pushes the woman back with his hand. At that point, she immediately begins stomping her feet and attempts to leave, which results in her quickly being arrested. It seems like there was an easier solution to this problem, but some people just have to do things the hard way. Remember those people trapped in the subway under Brazil? Well, this is what might have happened if they were on the actual subway train during the flood. These people are in a bad situation. Not only is the water nearly going up to their heads, but they might run out of oxygen in that train car if they don't get some help soon.
海滩四跟沙口路的中间段，海滩四刚走过去。大家不要说话，你们热不热呀？别说话，别说话，一人都来了。我现在打不了字，我这不是你现在能听得见我说话，你就给我报警。
The good news is at least some of them seem to have cell phone service, which will aid in them getting faster help. The bad news is that this event, which happens in Zhengzhou, China, left thousands of people stranded just like this.
我现在打不了，你就说5号线，我。对啊。
No matter where you live, it seems like intoxication and the subway just go together. This woman is either drunk or on drugs and has decided that the best place to lie down is in the middle of the subway doors. This is obviously a problem for the rest of the passengers, as she's keeping the train from moving.
Close those doors! Close those doors!
Suddenly, someone decides to intervene. After calling the woman over, they quickly drag them away. It's a pretty funny scene, especially in the end where the woman walks after them with a whole bunch of attitude on her face.
Yeah, bro, we want phone. You wanted it? You wanted it?
Here's another subway troublemaker looking to cause problems. In this case, they've gotten a hold of a fire extinguisher and are threatening people with it.
You wanted it, bitch? You wanted it, bitch? Oh.
After a brief altercation, they fill the entire train up with a cloud of the fire retardant. It's amazing that everyone remains calm considering the complete lack of visibility. On top of that, these dry power extinguishers shoot a powerful mix of chemicals that can seriously irritate the skin and lungs.
So you just didn't have a girl? What's wrong with you? I'll beat you up. You ain't gonna beat up cops. You think your people's gonna beat up cops? I'll beat you up. I'll beat you up, homie. Gangster, I'll beat you up, nigga. It's not your average guy. It's not your average guy.
You think you'll ever break my girl? You must be angry with this shit.
Beat up me. Beat up me. Beat up me. Beat up me. Fuck it. I love my blacks. That's it. I love my blacks. Breaks. I love my blacks. Do find out. You like that? Come on, man. Don't let your girl with you. Nigga, you move, nigga, I'm gonna beat you up. And nigga, you move, act like you want, I'm gonna beat you up. Gangsta. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna beat you up. Only you. Over me. I'm gonna beat you up. Gangsta. I'm gonna break you up. I'm gonna break you up. On my life, I'm gonna break you up. I'm gonna break you up. Wait. I'm waiting for you to get come. To laugh. I'm going about that. And I was in 13 years in jail. Let's get it in. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. You're not gonna move. You're not gonna move. You're not gonna move.
Move, baby girl.
You're not gonna move.
There's babies on here.
You're not trying to do enough. What you trying to do? What you trying to do? The minute you move, I'm gonna break you up. The minute you move, I'm gonna break you up. The minute you move, I'm gonna break you up. You trying to make me hit you first. You trying to make me hit you first.
What happened? You want to do it?
It's
The last place you want to be when someone pulls a gun and starts shooting is inside a tiny metal train car with dozens of other people. However, sometimes you don't have a choice. This footage shows two men getting into a confrontation on a crowded subway car. After a few seconds of yelling and threats, the two men start to square off. Knowing that something is about to go down, the passengers quickly move out of the way.
Get this nigga. Get this nigga.
There's kids over here. There's kids over here. Let's just separate. Let's separate. Get separate. All right. Go have a seat, my boy. Have a seat. Have a seat.
This is not it. Come on, let's do
Yo, you stab me? I'm locking you up. I'm locking you up when you get off. I'm like, I got you. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. You stab me. I got you.
This is true.
Watch
But that's
Get locked up.
I ain't doing nothing.
You get locked up.
I ain't doing nothing.
At one point, a woman intervenes by stabbing the primary aggressor.
Now, you interfere with a man's situation. You don't, it don't bleed from that. I got you. You stabbed me, right? You stabbed me, right?
You can't go anywhere.
You stabbed me?
I ain't do nothing.
You stabbed me?
I ain't do nothing, though.
You stabbed me?
I ain't do nothing.
You stabbed me?
Stop.
You stabbed me?
I'm getting it now. No, I'm getting it now. I'm getting it now. Okay. I'm getting it now.
Come here, baby. Get that all the way down, baby.
Now bleeding, the man grabs his bag and takes out a handgun. At this point, the passengers take cover and attempt to get out of the train car. While you can't see it, the primary aggressor actually had his gun taken away by the other man. He was then shot by the man defending the girl. In the end, he did survive. While it's hard to pick a good guy here, it just shows how quickly things can get out of control. Here's another example of a subway station being completely flooded due to heavy rain, this time in Berlin. Apparently, this was some of the heaviest rain recorded in the German capital in centuries. In this case, there is so much water that the stairs and escalators look like literal waterfalls. The good news is that there are no passengers inside, so the risk of getting trapped is completely limited to the person holding the camera. Unless this is their very last live stream, we can bet they made it out safely.
This is a Brooklyn bound F local train. The next stop is Civility Street, Essex Street.
Looking at videos like this, it should always come as no surprise why people in New York often ask their partners if they saw anything weird on the subway today. Between the mask, the erratic movements, and the bizarre twirling, the answer here is a resounding yes. The only real problem is figuring out how to describe it.
Punk ass nigga.
Getting assaulted by mentally ill people on the subway is pretty much a worst case scenario, but imagine it happening to you and nobody intervening to help you. This person in the white coat is having an episode of some sort but finally decides to sit down. When they do, the rest of the people nearby attempt to move. However, when the woman nearest them tries to change seats, the agitated person reaches up and grabs her by the hair. She looks absolutely terrified, but nobody knows what to do to de-escalate the situation. The person then forces her up and takes her to the end of the car before releasing her and storming off. Minutes later, the person filming shows the man continuing to act bizarrely. One girl, however, seems completely immune to the man's antics thanks to her headphones and face mask. Speaking of people acting chill in the face of complete madness, this guy deserves some sort of reward. It's definitely one of those wait until you see it style videos, but in the end, one can only assume that riding the subway from the outside is a pretty unique experience. The best instances of subway madness are the ones where nobody gets hurt, bothered, or even annoyed. This guy decided to try out a brand new hairstyle and he's taking it out for a spin. No harm, no foul. The only tragedy here is if it ends up raining and ruining this new unicorn hairdo. People should be allowed to express themselves however they like. However, if you're going to turn yourself and your partner into a walking art exhibition, don't be afraid if you get a few critics in the process. It's hard to say exactly what the message of this particular action is, but both of these people are going to need to take a bath in hand sanitizer to get the dirt and grime from a million shoes off their bodies. Unlike that terrifying footage from the New York subway, this video from the UK proves that the Brits don't take kindly to men assaulting women on the tube. What starts off as words quickly starts to get physical, but before the man can lay so much as a hand on the girl, half a dozen men already have him on the ground. And that's the sort of society we should all want to live in, one where we all defend one another and jerks end up with a face full of subway floor. As previously demonstrated, people fall asleep on the subways all the time. However, this can sometimes be ill-advised due to less desirable wildlife that populates the subway tunnels. Take this gentleman, for instance. He's just enjoying his nap when a rather large, rather curious rat decides to crawl up and introduce itself. The way he reacts by just standing up and letting the rat fall to its feet is priceless. Who wants to bet that will come up better than a strong cup of coffee ever could?
Only in New York City Transit.
Yo.
In the movie Willard, a man learns to train an army of rats to deal with his foes. Well, according to this footage, it seems that the main character might have fallen on hard times. But seriously, this poor guy isn't only homeless, but his blanket is completely infested by an army of subway vermin. Truly a sad state of affairs. Imagine you're traveling around the city, and you take advantage of your subway ride to enjoy a little nibble. Then this happens. This guy seems really interested in getting his hands on the stranger's food.
I just want to sit, man. Okay, leave it to you. Thank you.
Surprisingly, the man gives in and lets him have his soda. He doesn't seem to be enjoying it, though. Hope you're not tired of seeing rats, because subways around the world are pretty much teeming with them. This footage from New York City shows a rat scrambling around on a crowded subway while people stand on their seats in an attempt to avoid it. You have to actually feel bad for the little rodent. After all, it's not his fault that people are so afraid of him. That said, rats do carry some diseases, which can make humans sick in certain circumstances. As far as that whole bubonic plague thing, that was fleas, not the rats themselves. Rat infested or not, at least that subway car was still in one piece. This footage from Caracas, Venezuela shows people inside a train as it's actually in the process of derailing. Luckily, after several minutes, the car comes to a stop, allowing the people trapped on the other side to pass back over to a safe car. Let's hope someone had the wherewithal to alert the driver before the next crop of passengers got on. Alright, time for another palate cleanser. This poor guy is just minding his own business when a faulty panel comes and hits him in the face. It would be pretty funny if he was on his phone looking up a map of the area, only to have one smack him in the eyes a second later. You probably know that subways require constant maintenance to stay in proper working order. What you might not know is that they don't stop the subway trains during the process. This video shows how the maintenance workers just stand flat against the wall and pray while the car train comes flying by just a few inches from their faces. Talk about nerves of steel, huh? If you don't speak Portuguese, the people here are warning one another not to touch the metal. Why? Because there's a loose wire or conduit on the subway car, and it's about to discharge a ton of electricity. It almost looks like they're in the DeLorean trying to travel back to the future, and they just hit 88 miles per hour. However, when all is said and done, they were still in Brazil, only with slightly spikier hair.
Wait, shut the fuck up. Stop. Oh.
They're not letting me hit her back. She's hitting my stomach.
That's why.
You're f***ing retarded.
It's not just a compilation video until you see an angry Karen getting her due. This video starts off with a woman on the subway who seems to be having a very bad day. People are already filming her out of anticipation that she's going to do something wild. And unsurprisingly, she does.
Don't f***ing touch me.
Stop.
Don't f***ing touch me.
You come touch me, I will punch you right back. I don't care who the Yo, lady, just chill out, please.
Please stop. Stop. Please, stop kicking.
Yo, what are you doing?
Hey, what's your problem? Just.
Yeah, it's too early for this.
Lady, obviously you have a problem, so I just relax.
She's not even fighting you back. Yo, what are you doing?
Okay?
What are you doing?
No,
Stop.
okay?
Stop.
No, it's dangerous. Okay, so stop. It's intentionally. You take off your key, you take off your umbrella to hit her. Call the cops. Don't give a fuck.
Actually, don't, because you're going to make us all late for work.
She starts violently kicking at women while other passengers try to restrain her. She then decides to try and hit the victim with her umbrella. Despite people trying to calm her down, she just gets angrier and angrier. Finally, she starts with racial slurs, and that's when she really lost the room, or the train in this case.
Go 911 please. Stop being disgusting. Oh my god.
Stop.
What? What? Nah. Your white privilege ain't working over here, yo. F out of here with that racist shit.
She was eventually arrested for assault after several passengers held her until police arrived. I want to be clear, robbing people is bad. However, even bad things can be done so well that they deserve some sort of appreciation. This Paris thief is so fast that the guy he robbed doesn't even have time to react before his phone and the person who stole it are gone. It's a despicable act, but you have to admit, the timing was incredible.
Oh my God.
Hey, back.
Get out.
Come on, 1 by 1. Go that way.
Speaking of despicable acts, this footage shows the moment the man who set an innocent woman on fire in the New York subway was captured by police. The footage shows cops tackling the man and forcing his hands behind his back as passengers look on. In their defense, they just want to get to work, and they have no idea that this is the guy who committed one of the worst crimes in recent history.
Now, so what? See, you gonna pay up for it? Write this on out. Don't talk about dancing, nigga. Positive. I can give real. Bro. Don't ever get this shit twisted. Ever. I hurt you. Try to.
In the United States, there's a saying, never get into a fight unless you're 100% sure the other person doesn't have a weapon. This guy, however, is not familiar with that quote. He keeps yelling at the seated man and asking him to take the argument outside. He then decides to demonstrate his dexterity by balancing his hat while doing some flips, which he apparently thinks will be helpful in the upcoming fight.
Oh nah, dude, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah, we gotta get off.
We don't know what started this argument, but after the seated man unzips his jacket to reveal a small arsenal, we can guess how it would have ended. It's common to see people performing in the subway. It's actually a nice way to break up the monotony of the commute, plus the people get to make a few bucks as well. However, you're never 100% safe from critics. For example, this person decided to break a bottle over this poor man's head, resulting in a pretty nasty injury. Luckily, she was later found and held accountable for the assault. Guess she just wasn't a music lover. Depending on the culture, politeness and courtesy can vary in terms of importance. For instance, in China, both women and the elderly could have the first claim to a seat on the train. Still, you don't have to be nasty about it. This man is downright rude, demanding that the woman get up and give him her seat. He even goes so far as to start pawing at her and pushing her around. The strange part is that there are at least 2 seats next to her that he could take. The abuse eventually gets so bad that the authorities were called. Kind of makes it hard to respect your elders, huh? This video is short, but it's almost like an art house movie in its complexity. Is the woman intoxicated? Does she really think that sliding a dollar bill through the turnstile will somehow allow her to pay? Is she an alien trying to navigate her first day on Earth in a brand new human suit? It's hard to tell, but I would certainly watch that movie. In Japan, riding the subway is basically an art form. People have learned to pack themselves into cars so tightly that it's nearly impossible to move once inside. And nevertheless, people will continue to try and jam their way in, only to learn that it's now become physically impossible. The nice part is that their subways have attendants to ensure the doors close securely and keep troublemaking to a minimum. Here's another example demonstrating just how quickly a person can lose their belongings on the subway when they're not paying attention. This guy is already looking pretty shady, acting like he's falling asleep while never taking his eyes off his mark. The second the subway doors open, he makes his move. This happened in Hungary, and you really have to feel bad for the poor woman who just lost her phone to this patient predator. Here's another subway scumbag for you. This time, we have an agitated man who appears to be aggressive and confrontational. After attempting to start something with the couple, he sucker punches a random woman in the face, sending her flying to the ground. Luckily, some passengers on the train reacted quickly to help the woman. As for the assailant, he unfortunately gets away. Georgia, the country, not the state, is located between Russia and Azerbaijan. According to this footage, it has remarkably clean subways. However, it seems that they're missing one very important element. While these doors are likely malfunctioning, the calm demeanor of the people on the train would make you think that this is a common occurrence. Maybe a fence would help.
There's a seat right there! And you came into my place when I sat down. You are a You are a It's a life from today! You broke my tablet! Garbage! You're garbage! You're garbage!
While it seems that alcohol might be the real culprit here, There's no denying that this woman is going a bit too far in screaming at these random men. In return, they go way too far by assaulting her.
Hey!
This quickly results in an all-out fight, with both food and the woman ending up on the floor. It's hard to figure out who the real bad guys are here, but the undeniable winner of the video is the masked woman who got up the second the nonsense started. Deplorable actions by all, but the woman actually had the nerve to flick blood at people and blame them for not helping. Wild.
You piece of Thank you. Really nice. Broke everything. I literally sat down. Thanks, men that should be there for people. Yeah, I'm looking right at you. Thank you guys. Go by the whole thing of taking care of women, right?
I'm gay. Gay in a happy way. What you think the other way? Not gay in that way. Cause gay means happy and happy means gay. Gay. Come on. Gay. Gay. Cause gay means happy and happy means
Gay.
gay. Gay. I'm very, very gay. Hey.
If this video were a D&D character, it would be filed under chaotic neutral. This man is certainly causing a scene, but he's hardly doing anyone any harm by singing his little song. One or two of the passengers even join in. You have to admit, it's hard to argue with someone who's having that much fun, and hey, who wants to have a boring subway ride?
If I'm gay in a happy way, why I want to go to McDonald's?
Happy meal. For a happy meal.
I want my happy meal. I want my happy meal. Why I want my happy meal? I'm super what?
Gay.
Gay!
I understand. Ma'am, tell me your badge number right now.
Remember that whole pandemic thing? Lots of turmoil, millions dead? Well, one of the ways people tried to stop the spread was to wear masks. But when this random New York resident asked the police to put on their masks, they decided to violently remove him from the subway station. The officer then refuses to provide a badge number, which is never a good look. Cops have a hard job, but these two sure seem like some of those bad apples we keep hearing about. This is the 28th Street subway station, the day 3 inches of rain fell on New York City in just 1 hour. Imagine being down here and having this be your only way out. What's scary is that none of these people are doing nearly enough to get out of there. It's almost as if they don't realize that they're in serious mortal danger. some good news. This video shows the moment a young Cornell student rescued a man from the subway tracks just moments before the train would have run him over. There's no clear indication of how the man ended up on the tracks in the first place, but he appears to be injured. Luckily, some quick thinking by the empathetic lad ended up saving a life that day. New York recently spent a ton of money trying to curb waves of subway turnstile jumpers by installing spikes on top of some of the metal panels. This footage shows just how well all that worked out. Like it or not, there's always going to be people who won't pay for the subway. Guess that's why prices keep going up, huh?
There is a downtown express 4 train to Crown Heights, Utica Avenue. While you consider an escalator.
Probably the worst thing about sitting on a subway is that you never know who you're going to be sitting next to. As we've seen countless times by now, there are loads of drunk, high, or downright crazy people on these trains who could seemingly attack at any moment. This New York resident found that out the hard way. After a verbal altercation during which the man seems extremely confused, the man who started the argument just randomly punches him, knocking his glasses off. He was arrested, but it's hard to not wonder what could have caused him to react so angrily about nothing.
No way.
I've seen it all now. Oh, I have to.
No
this is going
way.
on YouTube. Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god, I haven't seen this before.
You a hating ass nigga. You a hater. You a motherfucker. You a hater, B. Get the f*** bro.
This is like going on.
This video is one of the most amazing New York City subway videos in history. It shows a man loading dozens of plants onto a subway car while yelling at a random person outside. It's completely absurd and raises so many questions. Why does he have the plants? Where is he taking them? How did he manage to get them down to the subway in the first place? The good news is that the passengers are much more amused than they are upset. So it looks like this little jungle experience actually turned out to be a good thing. One thing's for sure, it probably smelled better in there.
No way.
I think you're gonna make it all fit.
Couple of seconds.
Woo! All right.
about to ride the train with this shit. You know how niggas ride the train with bikes and shit? He about to hold up. He about to ride the whole train with that. He about to ride the whole train with that.
Why?
And he got help now. Yo, he really about to get this whole shit on the train. Keep going. You got it. It's gonna go in there, yeah? Only in New York.
Things didn't go quite so well in this case. This man has a 30-foot long metal bar that he's attempting to get into a subway car all by himself. What's most amazing about this one is all the people who are helping despite the obvious inconvenience. To be fair, it's probably easier to move something like that this way than to drive around the New York streets.
Get in, get in, get in! And people's helping. That's what's up. Thank you. Keep going. Oh, and everybody helping. See, that's New York right there.
Oh my God, he's got a knife.
Guns aren't too much of a problem in the UK thanks to some pretty tight regulations. However, bladed weapons are. In this case, 2 police officers spotted a man carrying a massive machete in the subway and immediately responded by tasing him to the ground.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, there's another sword.
As it turns out, the man was actually carrying several other large knives, so it's terrifying to think of where he might have been going with his little arsenal. Thanks to the quick work of these officers, we never have to find out.
Didn't expect to see that, did you?
No. I was just thinking about getting off and visiting my friend in Tulse Hill. Maybe not.
Oh my God, look at the size of that.
That's huge.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Let's end with a funny one. After all, there are lots of different types of subway madness. The best videos are unexpected, funny, and, most importantly, nobody ends up getting hurt. In this case, the only victims of this hairstyle is the person wearing it and the people they'll trip over because they can't see where they're going. Jumping the subway turnstiles to avoid paying is pretty much a rite of passage in large metro areas. However, it doesn't always go quite as planned. Here are a couple of guys attempting to beat the system despite there being a police officer literally right behind them. The guy who gets left behind is quickly redirected, but luckily, his friends come back to get him. Here's the twist, that's not the only point of the video. In celebration of their antics, the two run down the stairs, only for one of them to lose footing and hit the floor like a bag of rocks. That's gonna hurt tomorrow. there were an Olympics for not caring what people thought about you in public, the French would win gold every single time. This poor woman has had to lug her washing machine around on the subway without so much as a dolly or cart to help. As crazy as this is, we really have to hand it to her. She must be a power lifter to carry that thing around like that. Here's a cute one for you. This poor young lady has fallen asleep on a commute, something that actually happens all the time during those long work days. However, after a jolt momentarily wakes her up, she leans over to cuddle with the man sitting next to her. It seems she's forgotten that she isn't in her bed and that this guy is a complete stranger. The guy politely points it out, and the both of them enjoy a good laugh. She looks embarrassed, but he was a good sport about it for sure.